So I think I was at the point where I was telling you guys that we are a replication of the Meyerhoff Scholars Program. Well, when we created the Humanities and Social Sciences Scholars Program, we did it much the same way that we created the CARSTEM Scholars Program. What you're seeing now is just some photos of some of the initiatives that are part of our program, and we'll talk about the application process in a moment. But there are a wide range of entitlements that the students are privy to if they're chosen as a CARSTEM scholar. One of them is a summer bridge program, which is mandatory. It's a 6-week program, and then at the end of those 6 weeks, we spend 2 weeks abroad where we encourage the students to begin to develop a global perspective with the belief that over the course of their careers, it is very likely as they pursue answers to difficult problems, they will be working on problems of a global nature, and many of their colleagues across the globe may be working on similar problems from different perspectives, and sharing their individual perspectives and their work might speed along the search for these answers and final conclusions. And so during the 6-week summer bridge program, the STEM students will take a calculus course. Students have to take calculus 1 because it's so fundamental as a STEM curriculum. Most of you probably know that math is the language of STEM. The students take a required sociology course to begin laying a foundation for the humanities and the social sciences and how we think about, the various different majors that they will be pursuing. They also take the Afro-American Studies 2 honors course, the purpose of which is to give the students some grounding, particularly on the STEM side, to understand that perhaps the earliest STEM professionals looked like them. And we're in a situation now where only 3% of those who have PhDs and combined MD PhDs are participating in the United States at the highest levels of STEM. But that was not the case many, many years ago in early civilization, where the STEM leaders were much more likely to look like our students. And then what you see here is a photograph from Germany. We started out our global educational trips in Berlin, Germany. We now go to Ghana. We have a 3-year contract to go to Ghana, and then we'll move to South Africa for 2 years, and then we'll negotiate a new contract. Our program has a mentoring program. It is a peer mentoring program so that when students come in, the cohort who immediately precedes them will be their mentor. So scholars from the first cohort mentor scholars in the second cohort, the second, the third, so forth and so on. We also require our students to participate in summer research every summer after their freshman year. And then when they return to school in the fall as rising sophomores, they're required to participate a conference where they'll have an opportunity to share the research that they've done during the summer and stand before audiences and share knowledge and understanding of the research as they move along in their career. Our students have a variety of different interests. It's not just the typical chemistry, biology, mathematics, physics. Often our students come with interdisciplinary interests, and so we give them the opportunity to do some exploration as undergraduate students as they prepare to apply to graduate school. It is not uncommon for a student not to apply just for a PhD in biology or PhD in chemistry. It's much more likely that they'll be applying for PhDs in biochemistry or some other combined discipline. So this just represents a collage, if you will, of the interests that our students come to us with. As I mentioned earlier, we are a replication of the Meyerhoff Scholars Program, and we began our program in 2016 when I was hired to create what started out as the Bison STEM Scholars Program. And after a $10 million gift from the Karsh Family Foundation, we renamed the program the CARSTEM Scholars Program. So the first cohort was brought in 2017, and they graduated in 2021. Requirements for the CARSTEM Scholars Program and H3SP is the students must have at least a B grade in all of their STEM courses, or in the case of H3SP, in all of their humanities and social science courses, to have a high school unweighted GPA of at least least a 3.3. They also have to be committed to the pursuit of a PhD in a STEM discipline or combined MD PhD. If it's a humanities and social sciences scholar, they can pursue a combined JD PhD. We also look for students who have previous experience with documented experience with community service. They must be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. Special consideration or additional consideration will be given to students who have documented evidence of leadership in clubs and organizations. We're not sure yet whether the SAT or the ACT will be required. The last couple of years, we have made SAT ACT optional. We won't know probably for another month or so whether we will continue with that practice. If a student chooses to submit their test scores, we're looking for a minimum SAT score of 1,250, and at least 600 of that must be scored in mathematics. If it's an ACT, we're looking for combined average score of 26, and then math score needs to be at least a 25. The decision to make the test scores optional was impacted by COVID. Some students either had difficulty finding a place where they could get tested. In some cases, there was no testing offered at all. So many schools across the country, particularly this year, are reevaluating whether they're going to again require the SAT or ACT or whether they will suspend with it altogether. And we'll make sure that that information is on our website just as soon as we become aware of it. Our applications open on November 1st for both programs, and the application due date is January the 30th at 11:59 p.m. And the profile of our latest cohorts has not been posted yet, but for cohort 7, which was last year's freshmen, for the CARSTEM Scholars Program, the average, again, unweighted GPA was 3.86. The average SAT scores for those who submitted it in math was 702. The average combined SAT score for those who submitted it was 1393. The average ACT math score was 29, and the average composite score was 31. These are the average scores for the Humanities and Social Science Scholars initial cohort. The average GPA was 3.79. Average SAT score for those who submitted it was 1,280, and the average ACT composite score was 29.2. And the gentleman that you see to the right of the screen is actually one of the members of that inaugural cohort.